There's something about the 80s that lifts it above other times in recent history. It's like an entire decade met a demon at a crossroads and sold its collective soul. In exchange for the Cold War and New Coke, we got the single greatest concentration of pop culture the world has ever seen. Or maybe that's the rose-colored glasses talking. Nostalgia for times gone by seems to be at an all-time high with the popularity of properties like Ready Player One, Stranger Things, and the recent reboot of IT. There's some dispute among experts as to the utility or danger of nostalgia obsession. All that aside, it's hard to dispute the cultural capital laid down in the years between the Mount St. Helens eruption, 1980, and the launch of the Hubble Space Telescope, 1990. The world has changed a lot since 1987. Allow yourself, if you will, to fall down the well into time. The Bangles, Walk Like an Egyptian, and Starships, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, topped the Billboard charts. The United States and Russia were testing nuclear weapons. Pope John Paul II toured Dodgers Stadium. And The Princess Bride was released to modest success, earning $30.8 million from its $16 million budget. While Walk Like an Egyptian has been relegated to the waste bin of weird songs that have an unexplained obsession with other cultures, see Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas, and Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now is considered by some to be the dying breath of the once great Jefferson Airplane. No matter how many fond memories you have of eating root beer barrels and watching Mannequin with your dad, The Princess Bride has enjoyed a love affair with the public that has only increased with time. Video of The Princess Bride trailer. Despite a mid-length theatrical release, The Princess Bride found a second wind on home video that's never really abated. If you're a child of the 80s or 90s, you likely don't remember the first time you saw The Princess Bride. It was just a part of your cultural lexicon, the sort of referential material that spent like money on the courtyard at school. The Princess Bride succeeds in its ability to balance romance. It is, after all, a kissing story, with swashbuckling adventure, interesting characters, and endlessly quotable dialogue. It lives on because the characters, situations, and stakes feel real. But how real is it, really? The many varied adventures of Wesley and Buttercup. The story starts ordinarily enough, as both Buttercup and Wesley lead uneventful lives on a workaday farm. Their relationship is one of employee and employer. While a burgeoning love grows beneath the surface, the two interact through menial tasks laid on Wesley, the farm boy, by Buttercup. Wesley famously responds to each of Buttercup's demands by saying, "As you wish," and Buttercup soon learns that when Wesley says this, what he really means is, "I love you." As proclamations of love are wont to do, this sets their lives on end. Wesley leaves the farm in search of his fortune in hopes of returning to provide Buttercup capable of providing the life he imagines she deserves. In so doing, the two of them embark on a world no longer ordinary, a world populated by giants, evil princes, mirrors, civil conflict, sea monsters, poison, biological anomalies, and much more. When news returns that Wesley's ship was encountered by the dread pirate Roberts, Buttercup assumes Wesley for dead and, after 5 years has elapsed, accepts a proposal of marriage from Prince Humperdinck. Before the wedding can go off, Buttercup is kidnapped by a band of outlaws led by the Sicilian, Vizzini. In his employ are a giant called Fezzik and a Spaniard called Inigo Montoya. While on the run, the outlaws are pursued by a mysterious man in black who finally catches up to them on the face of the cliffs of insanity. After winning a fencing duel against Inigo Montoya and besting the giant, Fezzik, the man in black pursues Vizzini in pursuit of the captured Buttercup. Video of Princess Bride, the sword fight. A battle of wits, for the princess, to the death. The man in black finds Vizzini perched at a stone, holding a blade to the neck of a blindfolded Buttercup. They have, as the man in black states, reached an impasse. Vizzini knows he can't compete physically, so the man in black challenges him to a battle of wits, one that involves a fictional poison, iocane powder. Iocane powder can be sniffed but not touched. It is odorless, tasteless, dissolves instantly in liquid and is among the more deadly poisons known to man, or so the Man in Black claims. After their two minds do battle, Vizzini and the Man in Black both drink. Vizzini dies instantly. It's revealed that both glasses contained powder, though the Man in Black had spent a number of years building an immunity to iocane powder. Which begs the questions, is there any such poison, and is it possible to build a tolerance? Poison-resistant iocane powder is a fictional poison. However, there is at least one poison that has some of the characteristics the Man in Black attributes to iocane: arsenic trioxide. It is odorless, tasteless, and dissolves instantly in liquid. However, it's also toxic upon inhalation or contact with the skin. Using this compound, Vizzini would likely have died just about as soon as the Man in Black convinced him to sniff from the container. While sniffing from the container might have inhibited Vizzini with a less than lethal dose, he still would have had to combat convulsions, cardiovascular problems, and coagulation of the blood, among other symptoms, leaving the Man in Black with plenty of time to slink off with Buttercup. It's assumed that Vizzini was not affected by the brief sniff of the container and was only in danger of actually ingesting the dissolved poison. Could the Man in Black have actually developed an immunity? Not quite. Immunity to poisons isn't something we seem to be biologically capable of. Instead, we are able to develop a sort of tolerance or resistance to certain compounds. In fact, it's likely that you have some tolerance to a relatively common poison, alcohol. That euphoria you feel after a few drinks, that's the result of a moderate dose of poison. It's the reason a few more drinks results in disorientation and vomiting, and the origin of the term alcohol poisoning. Regular ingestion of alcohol can increase your tolerance even to the point that what might be dangerous for some is non-dangerous for you. You might even be dependent on alcohol on a daily basis, such that sudden abstinence can have deadly consequences. Similarly, humans can develop a tolerance to other poisons. The notion of building a tolerance to poisons goes back at least to Mithridates, the great king of Pontus, from 120–63 BC. After the assassination of his father, Mithridates was wary of attempts on his life. As a result, he made efforts to make himself immune to poisoning attempts. This involved dosing himself with sublethal doses of poisons. As a result, Mithridates ultimately attempted suicide by poison after failing to raise a new army. This attempt failed, due to his resistance to poisons, while killing his daughters, and Mithridates had to ask a subordinate to kill him rather than suffer the indignity of capture. In practice, Mithridates' method is not effective against all compounds. In fact, some toxins can build up over time such that microdosing will result in death. The important factor is the toxin in question. By convincing the liver or immune system to produce ways of combating particular compounds, it is possible to build a resistance to certain poisons or toxins. One such practice can be found in snake handlers of Burma who undergo weekly tattooing mixed with snake venom, which is believed to give them some resistance to bites. In reality, you'd be better off tricking your opponent than attempting to make yourself resistant to an ingested toxin. Flame, spurts, lightning, sand, and rodents of unusual size. After defeating Vizzini, the Man in Black is revealed to be both the dread pirate Roberts and Wesley. Buttercup, having realized him to be her lost love, follows him into the fire swamps in an attempt to avoid capture from the pursuing company of Prince Humperdinck. Therein, they discover the three dangers of the fire swamps: flame, spurts, lightning, sand, and rodents of unusual size. Each of these have some foundation in reality. Flame spurts are, in the context of the tale, pockets of the swamp that burst forth in fiery gusts. In real life, swamp gas is the common name for biogas, which are the result of gases produced by the breakdown of organic matter in anaerobic environments. Video of swamp gas. It is possible, under the right circumstances, for these to burst into flame. The closest real-world equivalent to lightning sand is quicksand, which occurs in similar environments as swamp gas, with sand, silt, or clay being saturated by liquid such that it cannot support additional weight. Despite popular depictions, it is not likely that you would drown or be submerged by quicksand. Instead, you would sink until your center of gravity was submerged. So long as you could keep a cool head, it's not unlikely that you would escape. Video of Can You Survive Quicksand? I didn't know that rodents of unusual size, however, are entirely real. Rodents are a group of mammals characterized by upper and lower pairs of teeth that never stop growing. They are the largest class of mammals, constituting roughly half of all mammals. The most well-known types of rodents are small, mice, rats, and rabbits. Though larger species exist and thrive. Capybaras are the largest known living rodent, standing 2 feet tall and living in groups, similar to the roosts found in the fire swamp. That's where the similarities end. Roosts are violent, aggressive pack hunters. Capybaras, by contrast, are relatively docile. Which isn't to say that there was never a rodent more terrifying than described in the film. Paleontologists have uncovered an ancient rodent, Joseph discovered in Uruguay, that lived roughly 4 million years ago and was larger than a bull, estimated at more than a ton in weight. Wesley might have doubted their existence, but this particular giant mouse was very real. Imagine a mouse with the body weight of 2 racehorses. It's very impressive indeed, researcher Ernesto Blanco, a biomechanicist at the Uruguayan Institute of Physics in Montevideo, told Live Science. The Princess Bride might have cemented itself as one of the great fantasy stories of this, or any, generation, but it exists well within the realm of possibility. While many of its story elements might seem conceivable, it's the foundation in reality, both scientific and emotional, that made it so endearing.